Yes, sir. We are back. Kaplan and Crew with just the crew. One more time today. Alex Padilla, Tom Browner with you guys here on a Wednesday, our last show of the week before a little mini break as we're getting ready for the NFL to kick off next week. We are brought to you by 7 Mile Casino. We're broadcasting from the 7 Mile Casino studio. 7 Mile Casino. If you're coming to town, if you live in town being San Diego, 7 Mile Casino is just minutes away from downtown San Diego, right off the 5 freeway. It is a smoke-free environment with all of your favorite table games, a full Sammy's restaurant and bar, incredible place to watch a game with tons of TVs everywhere. 7 Mile Casino. If you're coming to town for the weekend, for the long holiday weekend, go check out 7 Mile Casino. It's a truly great spot to play all your favorite table games. 7milecasino.com. If you want more information, go check them out. Go tell them the great friends sent you. Well, everybody, thanks for tuning in. We always appreciate you guys when Scott's not here. Scott, by the way, Browner, I don't know if he's okay. I don't know if he's
Uh-oh.
mentally okay. I get
What
text
happened?
messages this morning at about 6 a.m., which is pretty normal. And he's asking me about coming on the show tomorrow or Friday, or who's on the show on Thursday, who's on the show on Friday. And I was explaining to him, brother, we are off the next 2 days. What do you mean?
Mm.
Who's on the show? Can you make the show? You you told us that you are out for the week. You got stuff to do. And now he's talking about being on the show on Thursday, being on the show on Friday. And I was like, dude, are you okay? He goes, and classic Scott, the rant, the profanity laced messages about bandwidth and how he's so busy and how he just can't remember anything. And I was like, dude, aren't you like in Phoenix enjoying a super chill golfing weekend, doing some fantasy draft today? What are you worried about us for? I don't know if he's okay. So if you have Scott's number, everybody text him. Just make sure he's all right. I don't know what's
Well,
going
don't
on
do
with him.
that. Don't do that. Okay,
No,
listen.
everybody,
Too many,
if you
too many
have
people
his
have
number,
his number.
if you
No.
have
Oh
Scott
God.
Kaplan's phone number, text him and just say, "Hey, are you okay?" That's all. Just check
I
in
would
on him.
ask
Be
that
a great
no one do
friend.
that.
Be a
No.
great friend and check in on Scott. If you have his number, text him and be like, "Dude, are you okay?"
Too many people have his phone number. So I would respectfully go in the other direction and say, please don't do that. Because if he has a bandwidth issue, the
Mhm.
only thing that could make that bandwidth issue worse is multiple people texting him, asking him, is he okay? Because if you know how he works, then he will assume that something's wrong somewhere else.
Mm.
So don't do that. Please, people, don't do that. Do
No,
not
I
call
think
him.
it would be like the best thing as friends that we could do is to make sure he's okay.
I
That's
would
all.
I would vote against that, but get down how you live, whomever you are. Get down. If
Yeah.
you got the number and that's how you want to use it, go ahead. I wouldn't again. I
Because no
wouldn't, but
matter no matter how much he complains about bandwidth and how lack of bandwidth and he's too busy, there's too much going on, there's this, there's that. You know what's constantly he has time for? You know what he always has in his hand?
Texan,
A cell phone. A cell phone.
Texan.
He's got you. He's always got bandwidth to text people back. In fact, I think we should all ask him for tickets for something.
See, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're
Hey
trying to
King.
start a calamity.
Can we just be like, hey King, you okay? You all right? You all right there, big dog?
Don't listen. If anything, everybody just ask him to do a cameo. But his cameos went up too high. He in a different.
Yeah.
He went up too high for his cameos. So
Yeah.
I ain't
All
doing
right.
it.
Well, anyways, I was just trying to be a good friend. I was just trying to be a
Don't
great
text
friend.
him.
I was trying to be a great friend and trying to make sure that our boss, that Scott, that everybody, we just want to make sure he's good. He's probably really stressed about this fantasy draft because he has no idea what he's doing. He's probably really stressed because anytime he leaves his house, unless he's with Rachel, which he's not, the stress just takes over him because he has no idea what to do. He has no idea what to do when he's not working. As a human being, he has no idea what to do when he's not working.
Figure it out, bro. Hit a golf
Yeah.
ball. Have a beer. You with a bunch of dudes. Just have a good time. I don't know what the temperature's like in Arizona, but I'm pretty sure it's
Probably
warm.
not nice.
Right. So just chill. Sleep
It's a
in.
high. It's a high of 106 today in Phoenix.
Yeah, see? Sleep in. But it's a different 106. It's a desert 106. So it's probably dry. It's not very humid. So it's a
Yeah.
survivable 106. 106. If it was 106 here, we'd all be dying. We'd literally be like, okay, don't leave your house. Old people, check on somebody old, if it was 106 here. Like, we would literally be in a lot of trouble if it was 106 here.
So where I am going, Austin, Texas, is very different. It's 91 and raining. I mean, hot and muggy and disgusting. And that's where I'm going.
This idea, I see this idea populating all over the internet that Austin, Texas is now like the place to go. If you leave California, you go to Texas. Everybody's going to Austin. Hey, people, here's a tiny, tiny idea about if all y'all leave California and go to Austin, Texas, it's gonna be like California and Austin, Texas. Let's say, like, cut this idea out. Like, oh, everybody's going to Austin, Texas because it's cheaper. If
It's
all y'all go, guess what? It won't be.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
It won't.
It's
It was like 10, 15 years ago.
COVID, it was the time to go. If you're trying to go to Austin now, I mean,
you're done. You're cooked.
You might as well move to San Diego.
You're cooked.
Same price. Less property.
Most of the people, especially people who I know with a lot of money, when they talked about moving somewhere, that was the number one place. They talked about Nashville was the second place. But Nashville was too far from California. So most of those people just chose Austin. And man, I hear from them, not what they thought it would be.
Yeah, I have a lot of family-in-law. What are they called? My wife's family is all in San Antonio and Texas, and it's just every time I go there, it's bad. Weather-wise, it's just not my thing. But I'm a Southern California kid my whole life, so I'm not really ever moving to Texas. But I do go to Texas a lot. This weekend being one of them. I'm ready to eat some barbecue, though. I'll tell you that much, Brown. I'll tell you that much. Last night,
as much as you can.
Last night, though, in St. Louis, speaking of being muggy and hot and disgusting, did you see what was happening in St. Louis? It looked like everybody took a shower before they hit the field and didn't dry off. I believe, if I looked it up correctly, the weather was 98 degrees at game time. But according to the humidity meter, it felt like 106 in St. Louis last night.
That's a different 106, okay? The Midwest 106, you need to check on some old people, okay? You need to go to air-conditioned centers at 106 in the Midwest. Been there, done that, no thanks.
So is that an excuse why there was less people there last night than there was on Monday?
Again, no. Because if they were in contention, people would be sitting, sweating on each other's arms in St. Louis. Okay? But because they're not in contention, no, that's why people aren't there. But this idea that 106 ain't keeping no fan away from no ballpark, but 106 is dangerous in the city of St. Louis. That I can 100% testify to.
According to the Union Tribune, local residents were warned to stay inside and keep their pets with them. Some schools even canceled classes yesterday in St. Louis.
Yeah, 106 is bad. 106 in a city like that in the Midwest is bad. So respect to all the people who did go to the game. You took a lot on hands.
You saw another Padres comeback victory in St. Louis. A big night if you are a San Diego Padre fan, because it was a rare night where the Padres win a game and the Dodgers lose and the Diamondbacks lose, and you get to gain a game on both now being tied, same record as the Diamondbacks again. And in my opinion, Browner, that was a game the Dodgers, I think, couldn't lose. And here's why. You know who's pitching for them now? Walker Buehler. You know who's pitching them for tomorrow? Bobby Miller. So you had your guy, you had your ace that you traded for in Jack Flaherty against the Baltimore Orioles, who have the second best record in the American League. And now you got to go up against Walker Buehler, who's not been very good. And you got to throw in Bobby Miller, who just came back up from AAA. So it's going to be a tough going there. We're going to jump into all this coming up here in the next segment. We'll break down what happened in St. Louis. I know it was a picture-perfect ending for the San Diego Padres yesterday. We'll get back to that. They did make another comeback victory. We'll break down the numbers on that. We're also going to get into a bunch of football, because football is coming up in a big day for Colorado's Deion Sanders. We will explain everything when we come back. This is Kaplan and Crew with Just the Crew. Be back right after this.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
Carlos Alcaraz has won the last two Grand Slam titles at the French Open on the clay and at Wimbledon earlier this summer. He enters as the favorite.
You have a bunch of depth there. Francis Tiafoe, Ben Shelton. They will likely play in round three. The winner would play Djokovic, most likely, which would be an incredible match. I like Ben Shelton as a sleeper. If Djokovic is hurt, you never know. I think Shelton could actually be the guy that gets hot. The conditions favor him.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Mike Tomlin could have very easily put this to rest and say that, Russell Wilson is the starting quarterback.
Mike Tomlin's going to look at, hey, Russell Wilson led that clean drive. I think that separates him enough to give him the starting job. But I think you're right that the leash is going to be pretty short. And if Russell Wilson doesn't look good, Steelers fans pretty quickly are going to be calling for Justin Fields because of his scrambling ability.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
We're into a different regime, different ownership, different head coach. I like the head coach. Dan Quinn is a good football man. He has been around where he's been. They have won. Yes, he's had some talent there.
I'm incredibly excited for what this brings to the team. The defense, I think, is underrated. I think this is a good football team. And also, you talk about extending drives. I think Daniels has that ability. And that's something that hasn't been seen in Washington for quite some time.
Fantasy sports today, only on SportsGrid.
Where the great friends are listening. And if you're not a great friend yet, welcome. If you're watching on SportsGrid, if you're listening on SiriusXM channel 159, welcome to the Kaplan and Crew show with just the crew, where our host is on vacation but thought he was working tomorrow, which makes no sense in my brain, but it's all good. Welcome, everybody. And thank you all for being here. We always appreciate it when Scott's not here, that people still tune in and take care of us and join the show. So Browner, yesterday, a very, very big night in St. Louis for the San Diego Padres and their fan base, because they beat the Cardinals with another comeback, a come-from-behind victory. They actually came back twice, I believe, yesterday. Jake Cronenworth with the go-ahead RBI in the, I believe, 7th or 8th inning. And another kind of not-so-great performance by Dylan Cease since his no-hitter. He hasn't been terrible by any sorts of means, but he hasn't been the same since he threw the no-hitter, which is maybe a talking point as we go forward. I mean, if you look at the numbers here, Brown, I don't want to start negative. It's just what kind of came up. He's 1-2 since the no-hitter in 4 games started, 4.64 ERA. They're hitting 284 against them, which is the part that I have, that's kind of making me worry a little bit if you're a Padres fan. On the season, he's 12-10 with the 3.57 ERA. He does lead all of baseball with 197 strikeouts. Is that something that you've kind of noticed, or am I just nitpicking at this point of the season because every game matters?
I wouldn't necessarily draw too much into that. Dylan Cease has ups and downs in his outings, and I think this is one of those sets of downtrends before he goes back up. I wouldn't attribute that to the no-hitter, because at the start after the no-hitter, he was great, if I remember correctly. So what I see from Dylan Cease, and specifically what I saw last night, Dylan Cease, even though when he doesn't have his A game, he still gives you a chance to win. Mm-hmm. And that is what I think is more of a function of the success of the team has been this year, is that even when Dylan Cease did not have his A stuff last night, he didn't get blown off the mound. He didn't get blown out the building. And that's what I need from guys who are competing in a playoff race like they're doing right now. Right. And so I don't see Dylan Cease's, I'm going to even call it lack of success. I would say I don't see Dylan Cease's effectiveness being hurt by the no-hitter. I just think he's had a couple of starts where he's trying to find his rhythm, and he just really didn't last night.
He went up against Miami, which that was his game where it was okay. Then Colorado, the Mets, and then last night. And last night is kind of a wild card, man, because I know you can say, hey, we play in every weather, it is what it is, but really when it makes a difference, man, especially as a pitcher. When you're a pitcher and you're throwing, 100 pitches in that weather, it makes a difference. You're not going to be your normal self there. That's just a straight fact. You can you can tell the media whatever you want, which Dylan did not make an excuse by any means. He's like, yeah, it was hot, but it's not why I struggled today.
Every team has to play in something. But like if you're in New York, you have to get used to playing in a little bit of colder temperature. But if it's snowing, that's an extreme. Nobody has an advantage. And a heat like that, their pitcher has to throw too. This is an extreme. So I wouldn't necessarily chalk anything up yesterday to other than it being a game in a long season where your starter didn't give you his best. But this is when the other guys come out and do their thing. A guy throwing a no-hitter, he's carried the weight. Now, guys, what happened yesterday, guys picked them up. Them up, and that's what this team has really been doing lately after the All-Star break.
That's exactly what, I was watching MLB Network this morning, and they were having a conversation about the best bullpens in baseball. And the consensus, it wasn't unanimous by any means. Cleveland got thrown in there, but the Padres, according to MLB Network, have the best record or the best bullpen in baseball. And yesterday, when you look at who came in, Hoeing gave up a home run to Goldschmidt. Then Matsui, perfect. Estrada gave up a hit. Adam gave up a hit. And Scott came in and closed it out. So you did it without Robert Suarez, who's been pitching a lot of innings this year. But that's exactly what A.J. Preller went out and did. And when other people, me, said that it wasn't necessarily on my list of most necessary things on the team, he saw what this team needed. He went out, revamped that bullpen, and now look at them. When Cease only goes 4 1/3 and the bullpen only gives up, 1 over the next 4 2/3, that's a big, big advantage that the Padres have over a lot of teams in baseball. You know what else was uttered today on MLB Network, JB?
What?
I wrote it down because they were having a round table of,
Is that how round the table was? With your hands?
Round table. Even though they weren't around a table, nor was it round, they were sitting on director's chairs in an arch because that's what they do on television. But this is Mark DeRosa, who, by the way, was the one that brought up the song that I won't do again, but he hasn't brought it up since. Mark DeRosa says, quote, "The Padres legitimately have a chance of winning the World Series."
Okay. Is that an offensive statement?
I just wanted to hear what you said after I said what he said. Does that make sense? Like when you hear people talk about the San Diego Padres that way, we're a month and a half away from them being a 500 ball club. And now you have people, professional, former baseball players
who do it for a living,
who watch baseball all day, watch the league. We're Kaplan and Crew, Southern California Sports Talk. I'm not sitting here and watching the Kansas City Royals against the Cleveland Guardians. You know what I'm saying?
Not doing it.
I know, but I know they're having a great race themselves. I know that the Royals just took first place from the Guardians. I know that, but I'm not sitting here watching it. I'm not sitting here watching the Houston Astros after they got Jason Hayward. But I'm telling you that being a conversation right now on LB Network is eyebrow raising to me.
That's big. And two, if you look around the All-Star break, the betting odds in Vegas for the Padres to win the World Series, you was gonna make a nice little chunk of money if you put something down. So I think that what is beginning to happen when you have consistency and you have a breakout star who appears to be Jackson Merrill, you begin to start tracking on MLB Network or some of these East Coast situations where they watch baseball. You start tracking on the radar. You're now in late August and they're going, what's going on with the NL West? Whoa, that's the best division in baseball. Look at these records. Okay, let's do a little deep dive. Well, how did they get to this? And now you find yourself in a situation where you go, well, wait a minute, look what they did with the bullpen. Look at what they did with the starting pitching. Look what they've done with their everyday lineup. This team can compete for a World Series.
Well, let's get into a little bit more when we come back. This is Kaplan and Crew, brought to you by the 7 Mile Casino, 7milecasino.com. We'll be right back.
Mike Tomlin could have very easily put this to rest and say that, Russell Wilson is the starting quarterback.
Mike Tomlin's going to look at, hey, Russell Wilson led that clean drive. I think that separates him enough to give him the starting job. But I think you're right that the leash is going to be pretty short. And if Russell Wilson doesn't look good, Steelers fans pretty quickly are going to be calling for Justin Fields because of his scrambling ability.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
When you're really, really amazing like this, people kind of take it for granted. Same with Ohtani, right? People will sort of see, oh, Ohtani did this, Ohtani did that, and it sort of, becomes normalized a little bit. But to put in context, Aaron Judge joins the 1,000 hit club, reaches, gets it done. So earlier this month, he was the fastest player to reach 300 home runs ever.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
We're into a different regime, different ownership, different head coach. I like the head coach. Dan Quinn is a good football man. He has been around where he's been. They have won. Yes, he's had some talent there.
I'm incredibly excited for what this brings to the team. The defense, I think, is underrated. I think this is a good football team. And also, you talk about extending drives. I think Daniels has that ability. And that's something that hasn't been seen in Washington for quite some time.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
For the Padres to make the postseason in July 3rd. And at July 3rd, the Padres were 46-43. July 3rd. The odds of them making the playoffs were minus 130. So a $10 bet would have paid out about $18. If you look at the Padres odds now, Browner, what are the Padres odds of making the playoffs right now?
What you got?
I'm looking it up right now because I actually don't.
I'd be terrible. I'd be terrible trying to guess this.
So
this
now,
is the one thing I need to learn from SportsGrid.
So now that they are 76-58, so they've gone. What's the math? What did I just say? They were 46-43. So they've gone 30-15 since I was in Vegas. That to put my bet down that the Padres would make the postseason. Right? They've gone 30-15. Their odds currently of the Padres making the playoffs minus 2,000. They're making the playoffs, right? Like it has to be an utter disgusting collapse for them.
The collapse has to be historic. It has to be historic.
By the way, the Dodgers are minus 10,000 to make the playoffs. Padres minus 2,000 and the Diamondbacks minus 1,400 to make the playoffs. I'm not going to start having this conversation. I'll just bring it up now just to inform you. If the postseason was today, the Padres and Diamondbacks would face each other in Arizona in the wild card.
Now, if we're being clear, if we're just speaking straight facts, I don't mind that. Because I think the Padres are better than the Diamondbacks. I think the Diamondbacks got hot last year, and this year once they got healthy, they've proven to be consistent. Mm-hmm. But if we're talking about player for player, and we're talking about two healthy rosters, two healthy starting staffs, I absolutely like the Padres' chances for that. And two, they play better on the road. So what I do know is that the Padres fan base will travel and it will not feel like a road game. So if that's how it shakes out, I'm ready for that. I'm ready for that. Absolutely.
They also have a plus 950 odds of getting a first round bye. So
I don't want that. And I've been over this. I've said this plenty of times on this show. I've said this on other places. The bye is not for me. In baseball, I pass on the bye because baseball is about rhythm. Baseball is about getting yourself in a mind state. It's a mental battle. I don't want my guys taking 4 or 5 days off, which is totally irregular, while everybody else is working in baseball. In football, Yeah, you need an extra week because the physical toll it takes on your body. But if you're telling me we're getting 5 days off to do what? Inner squad? Nah, bruh. Nah.
Currently,
play.
All right. So let's forget about that. Let's go even bigger picture. If Mark DeRosa is correct, the San Diego Padres have a legitimate chance of winning the World Series.
Yes.
Would you take the Padres at plus 1,700 right now to win the World Series?
As constructed right now, without Tatis coming back. Like, I'm talking about right now.
Well, assume he's coming back. Just in general, would you bet that right now?
Yes, I take that bet. How many units I would put on that? I don't know.
That's a different question.
Yeah, that's a totally different. What this unit situation looking like? We talking about big units or little units?
We're talking whatever unit you're comfortable with.
No. See, for me, the bet has to be uncomfortable. If I'm finna swim in that water, that bet need to be uncomfortable because you know how I do. I want big returns.
10 units.
That's not enough.
No,
that's not enough.
Okay,
we gotta go big or go home.
All right. No, I was just curious. What that would be for you. I'm looking at it right now. If this I'm comfortable with, and I'll just say a number straight up. I want to talk about units. I would drop $100 right now on the Padres making the World Series to pay me out $1,700. No problem.
What if we did a show bet and we just put a bunch of money together for them to win the World Series?
What if I don't know if this is legal. What if you on Saturday at Gaslamp Tavern just pass a hat around? Everybody put a money in an envelope with your name, like Browner, $20. This person. No, you know what? Make it easy. Everybody got to put in $10. Everybody put in 10.
Right.
I'll split this thing even. How about that?
Listen, if people want to do that, do you know how crazy that would make people watching these games? If you knew instead of your 100, let's say 50 people showed up and everybody put $10 in, and now we're sitting at $1,000 or $2,000, whatever the case may be.
Pays out $8,500, dude. $8,500 to if you put in $500. Woo! Let's do it. Great friends. We'll be right back. Kaplan and Crew.
Carlos Alcaraz has won the last 2 Grand Slam titles at the French Open on the clay and at Wimbledon earlier this summer. He enters as the favorite.
You have a bunch of depth there. Francis Tiafoe, Ben Shelton. They will likely play in round 3. The winner would play Djokovic, most likely, which would be an incredible match. I like Ben Shelton as a sleeper. If Djokovic is hurt, you never know. I think Shelton could actually be the guy that gets hot. The conditions favor him.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
Hey, let's say it comes down for Matt Kuchar in the FedEx Cup ball. Let's say he doesn't make a cut, and it comes down to one shot. And
that's a good point.
And he keeps his card for the top 125 because he did make the jump from, I think it was 113 to 103. So he made a 10-spot jump. So he's got, 17, or let's see, that was not good math. He's got about 20.
Not a bad one. The Smiley Show. Only on SportsGrid.
We're into a different regime, different ownership, different head coach. I like the head coach. Dan Quinn is a good football man. He has been around where he's been. They have won. Yes, he's had some talent there.
I'm incredibly excited for what this brings to the team. The defense, I think, is underrated. I think this is a good football team. And also, you talk about extending drives. I think Daniels has that ability. And that's something that hasn't been seen in Washington for quite some time.
Fantasy sports today. Only on SportsGrid.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship. The golf has been mesmerizing. They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready? Let's go!
That's what champions do.
Saturday, if you are in town, Scott will be back for that. And what is that? The Great Friends Fantasy Football Draft at Gas Lamp Tavern, 2 p.m. downtown San Diego. If you're here for a holiday weekend, which I'm sure there's going to be plenty of tourists coming into town, you don't need to be in the draft to come hang out. And if you don't want to draft, just come hang out. There's plenty of people that are going to do that. So come out and down, Browner, to Gas Lamp Tavern, 2 o'clock. Get your brisket grilled cheese. Get your espresso martinis. A bunch of local craft beers on tap, not just the grilled cheese, but they have plenty of things on the menu. Saturday, 2 p.m., everybody invited. There are currently 2 spots open in the Fantasy Football League, but if there's plenty of people that want to play, a second league could get started.
There's a chance that we could birth a second league if there is enough people there and enough interest in it. In addition to that, there are 2 levels to the Gas Lab Tavern. We will also, in addition to watching the Padres game, we will also be doing the draft. And in addition to that, another reason why everybody should come, even if you're not going to be involved in the draft, is that we're all going to place a bet on Scott's horse. Again, everyone in the building will have a chance to put all our money together, pool our cash, and make one big fat bet on whether or not Scott's horse can be the winner. Again, it's going to be filled with a lot of fun. It's going to be filled with a lot of, reconnecting and seeing a lot of smiling faces. I haven't seen a lot of you guys since the last stand-up that a lot of you guys turned up to, so I really appreciate that. And so I can't wait to see you guys on Saturday at 2 o'clock.
Saturday, 2 p.m., Gas Lamp Tavern, downtown San Diego. Saturday, 2 p.m., Gas Lamp Tavern, downtown San Diego. Be there, even if you don't want to play fantasy football, if you just want to hang out with the great friends, with Scott, with Browner. I wish I could be there, but I won't be. Maybe I'll FaceTime you guys from the track because it looks like it's be raining on Saturday, so I might be stuck inside somewhere. So, 2 p.m., Gas Lamp Tavern, fantasy football draft, and hang out with the great friends on Saturday. All right. I found the quote yesterday, Brandon. We were talking about Sean Manaea, who's now with the New York Mets. Yesterday, the Mets beat the Diamondbacks 8-3, and Manaea was pretty freaking good. 6 2/3 innings pitched, 11 strikeouts for the Mets. And I went back because JD said that the quote exists. JD Diocampo, who's the commissioner of our Fantasy Football League, by the way. He said that the quote does exist. So I went back and I found it. And it's from December of 2022, right after, what is that? Like 2 months after the Padres were eliminated in the National League Championship Series by the Phillies. Sean Manaea said, quote, "As much as it sucks to have the year I had last year, I think going forward, it was probably the best thing for me as far as lighting a fire under my butt and really getting my routines down. And I realized that I can't just stay in this game if I'm just going to be lazy." San Diego strikes again. San Diego strikes again. Was Sean Manaea just like living in OB, just smoking some doobies and surfing on his off days and just not doing baseball stuff? Like, because he was terrible when he was here. He was awful. Him and Mike Clevenger were just brutal.
Sean Manaea was living when he was in San Diego. Okay. If you can afford to live comfortably here, there's no better place. Now consider yourself a baseball player with more than disposable income. You can live in whatever part of San Diego, Southern California you choose to. And, as a single man, I
don't know if he's single or not, but even if you're not, like,
that ain't gonna stop you from popping off.
Just going around the city with your wife or your girlfriend is a good time too, man. You don't need to be, you know what I'm saying? Like, yes, if you're single as a multi-million-dollar professional athlete,
you cooking here.
You're cooking here. You're cooking anywhere. You're cooking anywhere. Okay.
If you're a single multi-million-dollar athlete in Montana, you ain't cooking. Okay, you in the kitchen, you boiling water, but you ain't cooking. If you are a multi-million-dollar single athlete and a professional sport active player in Southern California, in Miami, in New York, when it comes,
he's in New York now.
You cooking?
He's in New York now, and it's not stopping him now. He's just not being lazy anymore. This season, he started 26 games so far this year. 26. Last year in San Francisco, he only started 10. He was more of a reliever. In 26 games this year, he's 10-5 with a 3.51 ERA.
But in New York, let me clarify this.
Okay.
In New York, it's a different level of like entertainment, right? In New York,
seasons there.
You can't. Yeah, there's a lot of time you are either indoors due to weather or you indoors due to business. In San Diego, California, you are outdoors 11 months out of the year, roughly. That's more than 300 days you outside. And when you in season, it's the summer season here.
Yeah.
So as a professional athlete with one of these houses in Coronado, you can't lose. You in the kitchen, you Michelin star, bruh. What you mean?
The Mets are they're in the outside looking in right now. They're 3 games behind the Atlanta Braves. But Sean Manaea, so far this season, has the most wins by any Met pitcher, has the best ERA by any Mets pitcher. He has the most strikeouts by any Mets pitcher. And the Mets are 69 and 63 after their win yesterday against the Arizona Diamondbacks.
He did us a favor last night, so I'm not complaining about his performance last night. But last year, man, I mean, this brother couldn't get out the second inning, dog. And we were excited when we got him because it was like, oh, Melvin had him with the A's and blah, 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 blah. He knows how to work with him. Bro was terrible. Yeah. Now we know why. Now we know why. The Dodgers actually ended up losing to the Orioles last night as well, 3-2. Jack Flaherty did go 6, but got I don't think he even got the loss yesterday. He got hit by a pitch. He says he's all good. That's the other thing. The Dodgers getting dismantled by injuries. You imagine Jack Flaherty has to miss time now all of a sudden because he got hit by a pitch on his throwing hand. Oof.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. Tonight, Walker Buehler. Let me show everybody the schedule for tonight in the National League West. We are Kaplan and Crew, Southern California Sports Talk. If you look at the grid. Dodgers against Orioles once again. Walker Buehler on the mound, 1-4, 6.09 ERA against Corbin Burns, who I believe was the American League starter in the All-Star game this year.
Yep.
12-6 on the season, 3.28 ERA. Big pitching mismatch there. Dodgers, Orioles, 7:10 p.m. In Arizona, the Diamondbacks are once again against the Mets. Eduardo Rodriguez, 2-0, 3.94 ERA for Arizona against Luis Severino, who we saw last week here in San Diego.
Yep.
And the Padres at the Cardinals, 4:45. I don't know the weather, but I could look it up because it's Joe Musgrove, so he might have some shiny ears out there. He's taking Andre Palante, who's 6-6, 3.84 ERA. Last night, poetic justice, my friend. Chef's kiss, as some shall say, when the final out of the San Diego Padres game was recorded by Nolan Arenado with an amazing defensive play by Manny Machado. Why is that a chef's kiss, like perfect ending here? Because Browner, I don't know how you perceive it. Arenado gets all the shine and Machado's just kind of left in the dust, and they're the exact same player. Like they are the exact same player. I don't even know why I didn't bring this up. Do you like if I pull up their career numbers,
you're can't tell who's who.
Dude, you literally like it's insane. Look at their career numbers from MLB. They posted this earlier today. Career WAR, Machado 56.4, Arenado 56.3. Career average, Machado 279, Arenado 285. OPS 826, 859. Hits, look at it. It's the same thing. They play Gold Glove defense. They play exceptional offense. They are, I believe, a year apart from each other. It's insane how much these two are alike.
I think one of the reasons why this became a huge talking point here in Southern California for us is because when Manny was up for the MVP, Nolan Arenado was also up for the MVP in St. Louis, and I think he won it, if I remember correctly.
I think Goldschmidt won it in 2022. I'll pull it up.
Yeah, because that's the year Manny carried the team to the playoffs.
Right.
And that's also the year where I think I definitely thought he would win it because St. Louis had 2 guys in it.
Right, Goldschmidt won it.
Yeah, and I thought they were going to take votes from each other, and it turns out they did not. So that's when
Manny was very much the MVP that year. You're absolutely
correct. Absolutely. Not enough help, but he still carried the team and didn't have it. It ain't got no hard way to show for it at the end of the day.
Yep. So once again, big night for the Padres. They gained a game. We'll show you guys the standings when we come back. We'll also transition over to some football. I got to tell you guys why today is a big day for Deion Sanders. Prime Day 2024. I'll explain when we come back.
tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The leftover language would be the million shy of what Jefferson makes Jefferson a better player. If you want to believe that, I'm not sure I buy that he's that much better than CeeDee Lamb.
Tony Pollard's gone. He's now with the Titans. I was with the Titans a couple weeks ago. He'll be their starting running back there. They're going a different direction in Dallas, but it's all about CeeDee Lamb right now, the first of the other deals that they have to get done.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
We're into a different regime, different ownership, different head coach. I like the head coach. Dan Quinn is a good football man. He has been around where he's been. They have won. Yes, he's had some talent there.
I'm incredibly excited for what this brings to the team. The defense, I think, is underrated. I think this is a good football team. And also, you talk about extending drives. I think Daniels has that ability. And that's something that hasn't been seen in Washington for quite some time.
Fantasy sports today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
Sending us your comments because we're going to shout you guys out the next segment. But Browner, today is a very big day for your boy. For your boy Prime. Today is a very big day. Today is Prime Day 2024. It's not Amazon Prime. We're talking about Prime, the Prime, Deion Sanders Prime.
The one and only.
Today, I'm a big fan of Deion today because what is happening today on blenderseyewear.com, I'm all about it. Today, the 2024 Primes, Coach Primes, are out officially. So, JD, you got that tat? You ready to spend your 2K? This is where you're going to spend it because he has not one, but two new pairs of sunglasses coming out today with Prime. You have the Millennia DX Primes that are sharp AF. Look at these things, Brown. These look like a Scott kind of sunglasses, don't you think?
Yeah, I'm going with the other ones. I'm going with the black
I think that's the ones that we got. I think we got these.
Those are right there.
I think we got these coming our way in that box that we didn't pick up. But today is officially Prime Day 2024. Both of these pairs of sunglasses are now available on blenderseyewear.com. Make sure you use our promo code Kaplan so you can get 20% off these Primes. And by the way, have you ever seen such incredible looking sunglasses for only $89?
No, I have not.
$89. $89. That's all it costs. $89 plus our promo code. I think it comes out to, if I'm not mistaken, because I bought the Red Bulls that were the same price, I think it comes out to like $67. Something like that. So what are you waiting for? Go to blenderseyewear.com, use the promo code Kaplan, and you will get 20% off your purchase. And a quick shout out to our boy JD Diocampo, who is our fantasy football commissioner, who says, Browner, I already ordered my pair. There you go, dog.
Yeah.
Which ones did you get? Did you get the white ones or the black ones? You get the Millennials or the Meisters, the Misters, whatever.
Them black ones are the way to go, man. Them black ones, you can't go wrong with them black ones. They fit all occasions. You can wear them to a nightclub. You can wear it to a funeral. You can wear it you pick your kids up from school. You can wear them to the grocery store. Style, sleekish. You know, it's about that time. It's about that time.
What I love about what they do with the Millennials, the other white ones, is like that's a pretty common design in blenders, but they design them differently for, like they use those for Red Bull too. So I have the Red Bull Millennials that I'll be rocking in Austin this weekend. And JD says the black ones, and Bernard Thompson says ordering his primes right now. Man, if you got a tattoo, and you got $22,000 to spend, you just get both of them.
Right. Splurge, bro. Splurge. Yeah. Give me two. Get a his and hers, even if you ain't got no her.
My boy Alex, who also got the tattoo, we live streamed it on our Instagram. He got his gift card finally because he didn't follow directions 2 days ago. And he's like, I'm going shopping today. Him and
Nice.
his girlfriend going to the Blenders in PB today. So there is a store here in PB. There's one in Austin. So if I drive by it, I'll stop by. I'll just buy a pair in
Pictures.
Austin. Yeah.
Pictures.
So BlendersEyewear.com, available nationally, all across the country. Blenders Eyewear, they deliver everywhere. When you spend $50, at least you get a free delivery. So spend $50, not that hard. Get free delivery. BlendersEyewear.com.
Where are your blenders Saturday? We're going to take a blenders picture. We're going to see if we can blend in together.
If you show up on Saturday and you're not wearing blenders, you're not getting in the door. I'm kidding. But no, bring them. If you have blenders, bring them. I'm kidding. If you have blenders, bring them on Saturday. That'd be a good picture.
Yeah, that'd be a dope picture.
Browner, hit me with the music. Hit me with the music.
Yeah. Yeah.
Breaking news from Jay Glazer.
Oh. Big football news
For you, Browner.
Who's the starting quarterback?
The Pittsburgh Steelers have made their decision.
I knew. We did not have this conversation. I knew, determined on how big he said the news was, because there's only really a couple of things left out there.
In football, right.
Right.
The Pittsburgh Steelers have made their decision. And who do you think it is?
Unfortunately, it saddens me to think that it's Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson is a starter for week 1 for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Congratulations, everybody. Russell Wilson, who is better than Justin Fields, will be your starter in Pittsburgh.
I don't necessarily agree with that statement, but as I said before previously on this show, if Justin Fields could not beat out Russell Wilson, then, my measurement on how good he is may be inaccurate. Now, I would like to see him on the field for a full game in a Pittsburgh Steelers uniform, and I think that won't take long because I think Russell Wilson is washed. And if you don't believe that, wait until you see him again in a real game for 4 quarters. And I don't want to see this BS when Justin's going to play 4 series and then Russell. I don't want to see none of that. I don't want to see no specialty packages. I don't see none of that, bro. Put him in and see if he can operate the offense. That's it. That's all. That's it. That's all.
I actually have a differing of opinion, even though I do believe that Russell Wilson is a better quarterback right now than Justin Fields. I think that Justin Fields is a more explosive, potentially, quarterback than Russell Wilson. What I think is the Pittsburgh Steelers are doing is the right thing, because what you can't do is have Russell Wilson be a backup, because he won't be a backup. But hold on, he won't be a backup. I think Russell Wilson won't be a backup. Russell Wilson will have 1 to 3 weeks to show what he can do, and if he doesn't, they'll go to Fields and they'll move on from Russell Wilson, and they'll just roll with Justin Fields the rest of the year. In my opinion.
So let me ask you a real question. For people who say, because I think I would say that you fall under this category as well. For people to say that he's not a backup quarterback, then he doesn't want to play football. If that's the case for me, then I don't want him as a starter either. If you mean to tell me, if your performance gets out there and it's not up to par, or someone else is better than you, and now you don't even want to be on the team because you don't want to be the backup.
That's the other thing. I don't think Justin Fields was significantly better than him, obviously. Like, if Justin Fields was straight up better than him, he would be the starting quarterback and they just move on from Russell Wilson. Why waste our time? The fact is that he just wasn't in the preseason or at camp or in practices. So let's go with Russell Wilson. Let's see what he does for a few weeks. If he stinks, if it's not working, we'll go to Justin Fields and we can move on from Russell Wilson.
But again, if I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm not moving on from Russell Wilson, because to me, if Russell Wilson becomes your backup, he's the best backup in the NFL.
Yeah, but you don't have – there's a reason why Russell Wilson went to Pittsburgh. It's because they told him he's going to get a chance to start.
So if
we're talking about Russell – we can talk about it more. Let's talk about it more.
Yeah. Let's come back to this.
I don't want to cut you off.
I disagree with this.
Yeah, I don't want to cut you off. So I want you to stretch it out a little bit. And we'll do that more, because it's the biggest news in the NFL today is that Russell Wilson is now the starting quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll jump into what that means. We'll let Browner go off next.
tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
We're into a different regime, different ownership, different head coach. I like the head coach. Dan Quinn is a good football man. He has been around where he's been. They have won. Yes, he's had some talent there.
I'm incredibly excited for what this brings to the team. The defense, I think, is underrated. I think this is a good football team. And also, you talk about extending drives. I think Daniels has that ability. And that's something that hasn't been seen in Washington for quite some time.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
Quarterback for week 1 over Justin Fields. And obviously, Browner, for those of us, because obviously the great friends know you're a huge Chicago Bears fan. I just want to tell the story and set it up properly, at least for the people that are unaware of our entire existence of a show has had Justin Fields in it at some point or another.
Yeah.
Not the entire, but the last 3 years, Justin Fields has been such a big part of the show because you are from the south side of Chicago. You are a lifelong Chicago Bears fan. You thought finally the Bears got the guy, and you thought the guy was Justin Fields. You thought he was set up to fail by the front office. You thought he had a terrible offensive coordinator. You thought he had bad head coaches. You were team Justin Fields to the point where you said last season at some point, if they draft Caleb Williams, I will be a fan of whatever team Justin Fields lands on. Little did you know that Justin Fields would be a backup in week 1 to Russell Wilson, a guy that you don't think is a very good quarterback, who you slammed the last 2 years in Denver, who you blamed for a lot of the things that were happening in Denver. So it's all this big story that's been happening for the last 2 or 3 years and why you're so passionate about Justin Fields. So now that Russell Wilson has been named the starter in Pittsburgh, now that Justin Fields is officially the backup in Pittsburgh, now that Caleb Williams is a Chicago Bear, you're 50% Bear fan, 50% Justin Fields fan, or actually 25% Justin Fields fan, 25% Charger fan. That's
Correct.
the Browner pie. Did I set this story up properly?
Correct.
Okay,
That is
now
accurate.
go. So tell me what you're feeling. Tell me what you disagree with what I said today about Russell Wilson and Justin Fields.
I think the idea that we're saying that Russell Wilson cannot be a backup when he was a backup all last year. Well, the second half of last year, not all last year, the second half of last year for the Denver Broncos, and the Denver Broncos got better when he was the backup. The idea that he can't be a backup now, to me, seems laughable. So if you're telling me, oh, he can't be a backup, if he's a backup, then he's off the team, when 70 quarterbacks started football games last year. If I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers, if you're not the starter, you're still on the roster, we still got you unless you quit. If you can't be the backup because you got beat out by somebody else, if that's really the temperature that they're operating under, or if you're going to tell me Mike Tomlin said he had pole position from the very beginning, and if he never lost that pole position because Justin Fields never showed the skill level or the aptitude to pick up the offense and be able to execute it at a way that made the offensive coordinator and the head coach comfortable enough to be out there with them, that's a different story. But I watched both these guys in preseason. I didn't watch practices because obviously, whatever. What I can tell you is when I watched both of them play in the preseason, Justin Fields was better. Not much better.
Right.
But
I think that's the problem.
better. He was better than him enough to be named the starter. I didn't see anything from Russell Wilson in the preseason that was above average. Justin Fields had, and again, their offensive line is injured, and remember, it's the preseason, so there are guys on the roster blocking that won't even be in the league come week 1. They had guys out there who didn't even know their assignments, and Justin Fields is out here making moves, getting first down, doing pinpoint throws. I didn't see any of that from Russell Wilson, and I mean any of it. So if Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers, who I love Mike Tomlin, and that's no discussion about that, my love for Mike Tomlin. If he thinks that Russell Wilson is the better quarterback from what he's seen in practice, then we'll find out.
Yeah,
we'll find out.
I just think that it's not that Russell Wilson can't be a backup. That's not what I'm saying at all. I think Russell Wilson won't be a backup because he was never technically a backup in Denver. They just said he's done playing here, which is very rare. Like, it wasn't like he was going to come back in. He was gone. He's like, we're not going to play Russell Wilson anymore. We're going to move on from him in the offseason. So technically he really wasn't a backup.
If Russell Wilson, to your credit, you are correct. They came out and said, hey, he's not going to play no more because of contractual reasons. If he gets injured, we'll owe him this money, blah, 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 blah. So he's not going to play. So you're right about that. So I'll revise my statement. If Russell Wilson stinks it up or plays below average to what their standard for what they think the quarterback should be, and keep in mind they had Kenny Pickett last year, so it's not that high. If Russell Wilson does not play above the standard that the Pittsburgh Steelers coaching staff think that he should retain the starting position, and then after that, he doesn't want to be the backup, he leaves the organization completely.
Yeah.
That's all I need to know about Russell Wilson.
Oh yeah, me too. I'm not trying to defend Russell Wilson. I'm just telling you that the Pittsburgh Steelers put themselves in a situation where it didn't really matter unless Justin Fields significantly, ridiculously just smashed Russell Wilson in a competition.
I agree. And he didn't do that.
And he didn't do that. And that's why they have to go with Russell Wilson, because they set themselves up for this to happen. But the moment that Russell Wilson struggles, I think, Browner, we agree, Justin Fields should get a shot and see what happens there. Now, I'm not going to guarantee that Russell Wilson's gone, but I think he would be gone the moment he gets benched. So that's hour 1. More to come. This is Kaplan and Crew. Visit our website, kaplanandcrew.com.
Mike Tomlin could have very easily put this to rest and say that, Russell Wilson is the starting quarterback.
Mike Tomlin's going to look at, hey, Russell Wilson led that clean drive. I think that separates him enough to give him the starting job. But I think you're right that the leash is going to be pretty short. And if Russell Wilson doesn't look good, Steelers fans pretty quickly are going to be calling for Justin Fields because of his scrambling ability.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Hey, let's say it comes down for Matt Kuchar in the FedEx Cup ball. Let's say he doesn't make a cut, and it comes down to one shot. And
that's a good point.
And he keeps his card for the top 125 because he did make the jump from, I think it was 113 to 103. So he made a 10-spot jump. So he's got, 17, or let's see, that was not good math. He's got about 20.
Not a bad one. The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
If the U.S. gets to a bad start and they're down or close, I may double down on the second quarter because I know that that's when Steve Kerr is going to want to either A, if it's close, open it up. If they're losing, you got to get the lead because you don't want teams like it was in South Sudan that believe that they can win.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship. The golf has been mesmerizing. They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go! That's what champions do.